It sensed it before seeing it. Which, right off the bat, is confusing. What it? Are we talking about sensing it? How many its are there? It's a good thing to let you know right up front with this book. It's gonna be like muddy, muddy prose. So you know what you're getting into. Alright. At first there was a movement of shadows in the pitch black water. A shifting of shades. Its eyes had adapted to the darkness. Learned it. It could see better than you or I could see. But then, it had to. It lived off the things in the dark. There it was again. To the left. An indistinct, amorphous shape swimming past. Then a noise, a sharp clicking sound. Now it knew it wasn't alone. And it began to salivate as it threw all of its senses out into the watery world around it. And throwing its senses out, like, there's a smell, hearing, electric feel thing that sharks have, because it's a shark. Spoilers. Whatever. Threw all of its senses out into the watery world around, hoping to track down the object of its desire, and that just sounds wrong. And whatever the prey was, it was big. Massive, even. Its target matched it pound for pound, but the creature wasn't afraid. And why would it be afraid? He was the fiercest... Why did we switch from it to he? Is it an it or is it a he? Are we sure about the gender? He was the fiercest predator in the ocean. He could bite blue whales in half with teeth that were 7 inches long. It's... Pick one! Either it's or his, not both. Its mouth could swallow a city bus if the situation presented itself. Don't know why it would in the ocean, but whatever. It could topple a high-rise faster than Superman could leap it. I don't even know where to begin questioning that statement. It's a shark. I mean, it's a giant frickin' shark, but it's just a shark. How is it going to knock over a building? I don't even know why we're bringing Superman into it. Keep going. It could swallow and digest with ease the entire combined contents of the sea at every aquarium throughout the... What? The entire combined contents of sea life at every aquarium throughout the world. Just tell us how big it is. Why would it be going from aquarium to aquarium eating their fish? How does that make sense? It's going to be a long book. Again, the next sentence even questions it. This was not a proven fact, of course, because no one actually believed it existed. Or should I say, still existed. Millions of years of its supposed extinction were the myth, not the creature itself. It was an individual... It, as an individual, did not have a name, but it was commonly known throughout the world as Megalodon. It's a big shark. It was the top predator of the oceans, but there had risen a contender that was threatening to dethrone it. This opponent was just as big and ferocious, but designed a heck of a lot differently. It had been sighted a few times by mankind, so the existence of the giant squid was well known. It had... Oh, just read that sentence. This was the lurking shadow that the Megalodon was stalking. Now, unbeknownst to old Meg... Terrible name for a guy, but whatever. Maybe it is a girl. Maybe we're switching back to it because we don't know. How do you even tell on a Megalodon? Do we know about Megalodon genitals? Do I want to know if we know about Megalodon genitals? Well, let's move on. Now, unbeknownst to old Meg, the giant squid was stalking him back. The undulating arms propelled it whisper quiet through the dark, impenetrable muck of the deep ocean water. It scared small, weird fish out of the way, but didn't bother with them. It had its eyes locked right on target. The strange, luminescent tinge to the megalodon's skin left it shimmering in the murk. And in this environment, that was almost a flashing neon sign to predators who were up to the task of rumbling with the big fish. The giant squid was indeed up to the task. A rush of water tossed the megalodon's head to the left. Its tingly parts tingled. Its tingly parts tingled. I'm just gonna move on. Just gonna keep going. Its tingly parts tingled, telling him there was food in the area. Big food. It shot forward in the dark, but found nothing where the blast of water had come from. Then another click sent it blasting off toward the right into empty water again. For his part, the giant squid was playing with the poor old Meg. The squid knew it couldn't match the megalodon exactly, but if it tired the thing out, maybe it had a shot of getting a solid grasp and tearing its eye out with its beak. At that point, the battle would be won. A blind shark was a dead shark. Every good giant squid worth his salt knew that to be the God's honest truth. Besides, the eye was the yummiest part. The giant squid turned and rose like a blooming flower, taking off into the summer breeze. Getting poetic there, guys! The megalodon heard the swish and shot up into the water. There it spotted the wiggling tentacles for the first time, and if it could have smiled, it would have. The megalodon pushed forward and snapped its ivories at the tentacles, but just as fast as he had spotted him, they yanked away. The giant squid dropped down and attacked from the left flank, wrapping the shark up in his powerful arms and squeezing with every ounce of its strength, hugging like a toddler hugs a teddy bear. The megalodon found itself in dire straits. It knew it was in trouble and started to shake. It snapped its jaws at the tentacles that flailed in the water and managed to take a solid chunk of one of them. The giant squid was not expecting this and let go of the megalodon as the pain set in. The monster shark used the opportunity to swim around and come charging back at tremendous speed, eyes rolling back to their whites, teeth bared. Wait. Shark eyes don't have whites? It's like classically solid black, right? Don't they have that line in Jaws where he's like, have you ever seen a shark's eyes? Kind of like doll's eyes. Am I imagining that? I could be imagining that. I still don't think sharks have whites in their eyes. Somebody prove me wrong. The squid saw it coming and tried to slip away, but it was too late. The 100-foot fish meat freight... The 100-foot fish meat freight train? That's the phraseology we're going with? The fish meat freight train. I mean, I get what he's going for. This is like driving finishing nails with a sledgehammer. Okay. Let's try this again. The 100-foot fish meat freight train slammed into it like an atom bomb, tossing the squid away like a Raggedy Ann doll out a car window. You know, how Raggedy Ann dolls do out of car windows. I mean, again, I get what he's saying, but why? Why is this the metaphor we went with? The squid shook it off just in time to dodge a second charge and latched onto the gray back of the megalodon. This didn't make the shark happy, and certainly not what happened next, which was icing on the fight cake. I want a fight cake now. Somebody make me a fight cake. Put icing on it. The squid crawled forward to cover the face of the old Meg. The Megalodon tried to shake the groping cephalopod off, but nothing doing. It was hanging on for dear life. Nothing doing, old shark. He's hanging on. The squid opened its ugly alien beak and ripped the shark's right eyeball clean out of its socket. Sharks can't scream, but if old Meg could, he would have given any scream queen a run for her money. Blood poured into the water, making the battle arena clouder. I can't pronounce arena, sorry. Blood poured into the water, making the battle arena cloudier. Meg, in a last desperate gambit, worked its jaws like a maniac and managed to bite into and tear away another tentacle. The squid detached itself to nurse its wound and chew up the massively gooey eyeball, which squished satisfyingly in its hooked, yellowed beak. If they had not been otherwise engaged in a death match, both giant creatures would have noticed something happening to the seafloor. Massive giant cracks appeared in the uneven surface, and superheated water bellowed from the newly formed cracks. Small, insignificant sea life was scared off by the blasts of hot water, leaving the area clear of life, except for the Megalodon and his foe. The shark jostled himself, thinking that this would ease his pain. It couldn't process that its eye was gone, only that his left side... Why do we have to keep switching between it and his? This is the worst thing. It's so hard to read. I know I already made a big deal about it. I'm making a bigger deal right now. Pick one! It couldn't process that its left eye was gone, only that his left side worked better than his right. It swung around until it could see the injured giant squid and zoomed after it, flapping the heck out of its tail. I just love the image of that. It's like a giant, 80-foot shark, like a little goldfish. Top-notch writing right there. The squid curled its two injured tentacles and turned to see old Meg's jaws widen. The squid dodged out of the way and circled the big fish. The Megalodon turned as gore leaked from its defaced eye socket, found the squid, and propelled itself forward again, anger amplifying its hunger pains. The squid knew it was do or die time, and shot forward, heading straight at the Megalodon. It turned around to face the shark with tentacles blossomed out to expose its beak. Seconds before they were to collide, a massive burst of fire erupted from the new cracks in the seafloor. The flames spewed out into the water in a giant column. Megalodon and the squid perceived a noise, a drastic change in the water temperature, and a few other nearly inaudible things that didn't seem quite right, before they were engulfed in the underwater flames. San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua. Felix was named after Felix the cat. At least, that's what his mother told him. Why would we not believe her? Whatever. If that was the truth, then he hated his mother for it. He considered Felix to be the world's dumbest name, and his namesake to be the world's dumbest cat. So if he'd been named after some other Felix, he would have been okay with it? I'm just spitballing here, what... Does it have to do with the fact that he hates the name Felix, or that it's after Felix the cat? I'm not saying either one is a non-reason. I mean, both are... Felix is a dumb name. But, let's figure out which one he doesn't like. He made his pal call him F.A., as in F.A. El Jefe, because he was the boss man. His friends laughed at him at first, but it only took a few weeks of it for it to stick. And calling him F.A. El Jefe was as normal as calling his manners atrocious. I guess he has atrocious manners. F.A. found himself walking along the shore of the beach and after sharing a homemade pizza with his family. His stomach grumbled, and he had decided to walk off the heavy breading and goat cheese. As he rounded the corner and plopped along on That sentence doesn't make any sense. He rounded a corner and plopped along on a spongy sandbar. He spotted the first seagull and dismissed it. "Begone, seagull!" That's not in the book. Like, seriously, what are you talking about? But then he heard the cry of hundreds of the darned garbage men of the sea, as his father referred to them, and he knew something was up. He looked into the sky and saw massive flocks of the birds swarming through the sky. He knew this meant something had washed up onto the shore, which happens regularly, but with this amount of bird activity, it had to be something huge. He ran to follow the flock, and as he came up over a sand dune, his eyes fell on the thing that the seagulls had gathered in mass, not en masse, to feast on. Whatever. They're stretched out and rotting on the bit of sandy beach between F.A. and the blue, inviting ocean, was our pal, the Megalodon shark. Can we really call him our pal at this point in the story? He's only interacted with one person, and it wasn't a person, and it wasn't friendly. They had a fight cake, and there was icing on it. Maybe not our pal. Pero que merde eso! F.A. shrieked like a giant cat. Like a wild cat. If he doesn't like cats, he should shut up about cats. Which loosely translated into, "What the crap is that?" The sight of the Megalodon like a meat... Why do we keep saying it's like a meat train? What does that even mean? I'm imagining like this giant cars carved out of living flesh, exposed steak-like flesh, pulsing and like bone wheels underneath. The meat train. It's coming to town. It doesn't make me think of a shark, but it's a freaky image. Anyway, the sight of the Megalodon like a meat train derailed on the beach was bad enough. But it was condition of the corpse that was a real kicker. As F.A. approached the foul-smelling carcass, he noticed the burn marks all over the body, and the small cauterized bite wounds that lined its hide. It was clear that whatever had killed the Meg and introduced it violently to the world had not only burned it to death, but eaten it along the way too. End of prologue. Maybe we'll do another one next week or something.